Munchkins and viewers alike, it's me, Munchie. Welcome back to The Good, The Bad, The Craigslist Pet Ads. I'm doing my thing cause I can. And if you're new here, we discuss Craigslist pet ads, specifically small animals. So today's is only gonna be about hamsters, but if you would like to stay put and figure out why I am reviewing Craigslist pet ads, it's because we want to see their care before the people rehome them, just to see if the general public, at least here in America, will actually have decent care, especially since it's 2024 and we've been advocating, at least for me, since 2017. So it's like almost half a decade, if not more now. Where is their pet laws? All right, here in America, where are you? So we do have a rating system here just because it shows you where I land on it. But at the same time, you will be seeing stuff in here that if you're very sensitive to inappropriate care or bad care or maybe even neglected care, please don't watch these videos. And if you can handle it, okie dokie, let's get into it. Number 5 is positively perfect. 4, doing a good job so far. 3, needs improvement. 2, yikes, not good. And 1 is basically, I don't want to be on this planet anymore. It's just not acceptable. So I hope you enjoy these videos. And if you want to support the channel, go ahead and hit like once you know you do indeedy like these videos. So first one is coming from California. Free hamsters. We have a baby hamsters. If interested, I don't have the money, care for them, all their eating regular hamster food, free adult hamster also. So in this photo, it is the Tiny Tails monstrosity cage, which the company claims that, well, you know, if you buy one cage, then you can attach more and that's how you can make it bigger. These things are the equivalent of trying to live in a bathroom size or maybe a medium, large closet size for the rest of your life. And it's just not appropriate because hamsters in the wild run an average of 5 to 10 miles and they have 2 miles of territory, and they burrow 2 feet underground. Knowing that we domesticated these types of animals to be in and above the surface, yikes. But Tiny Tails I've had some gripe with for years. If you want to learn more, check out the channel. But this cage I reviewed in particular, it should not be holding a single hamster, and yet it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I can see clearly here in this first photo. It doesn't look good at all. You can tell that they've been bar biting the sides. You can see the rust and everything. Unfortunately, hamsters, they're gonna gnaw and they're gonna bite, and in captivity, no matter what size enclosure, there will be some form of damage to your enclosure, and or if you're keeping hamsters within proximity of each other, they're gonna smell them and they're gonna want to get to each other. These types of things happen where they really want to escape. But these are baby hamsters, and in the photos you can clearly see them. The next one, you see a KT critter trail. You see the 7-inch flying saucer wheel, which is not appropriate for them. They curve their sides and it causes pain and issues, and it's not the correct size wheel for a Syrian hamster. 10 plus inches is what you should aim for as a minimum and go bigger, especially if you have a larger Syrian hamster. You can see the mother in the photo. Must have been an accidental litter, but there are 3 adult Syrian hamsters in here. Are these just separate enclosures? I actually think maybe that's possible, and this has just kind of been a breeding thing that's been going on and on and on and on. In the ad, it does say babies and adults. This is not okay. Syrian hamsters after 8 weeks old should not be together, and sometimes they even need separating before 8 weeks old. Clearly, this person has put in money. You see stuff from Petco inside of here as well as from PetSmart, but you don't keep Syrians together. They just don't have money for them. And then, of course, you got the 2-tier KT Critter Trail cage, which I'm so shocked. KT 2024, and yet they're still selling their attachable cages, and yet they made the KT Super Critter Trail, but they didn't take the other ones off the market. In fact, KT really honestly played the hamster community, because instead of advocating for appropriate care, they continue to become neglectful hamster pet company. I don't like KT, and I don't like the way that they just advertise these animals for kids. They have no intentions of trying to get rid of these cages at all, and these cages have been around since 2000s, when I, Munchie here, had hamsters when I was like 10 years old. It's just Ugh. So yeah, it looks like they have separated the babies. So maybe males to females, but that's a lot of hamsters. They're clearly overwhelmed. Of course, I am going to say, I don't want to be on this planet anymore. This is just not good. This is a really crappy situation. I just wish people would do their due diligence and research before getting a pet. And it's very easy to sex them too. You can look for that information online. Next one is kind of sad because I do think that there is neglect in here. So it just says hamster, $20. Female, personality, chill and cute, nips you lightly to show boundaries or affection, because obviously they don't know which one it is. You know, for all they care, this animal is clearly the most lovable Rottweiler, alligator, guinea pig that you'll ever see. Also nips you lightly for sunflower seeds. So for dwarf hamsters, they typically like to feel with their surroundings, so they will lightly nip, but this is not aggression or a form of aggression. Sometimes it can be irritating, and so they will nip you harder, and of course the fight or flight response kicks in when they are absolutely terrified. But if you look here, guess what enclosure this is? It is a travel carrier. They are housing this hamster in a travel carrier with soiled looking bedding, dirty looking bedding, and this dwarf hamster, even though there's a bunch of like food in there and broccoli and a carrot, a really long carrot that looks like a carrot, it's awful. And then you see sunflower seeds on the side. You do see a bit of what I assume is part of a very low quality pelleted diet. You might argue, well, maybe it's because they took it out of their original enclosure for pictures. These pictures still suck. This dwarf hamster clearly looks like it has been living in this filth for a while, because hair should not be parting like that. Unless they are old and they can't take care of themselves, then grease and oil builds up. But that's why dwarves absolutely need a sand bath, because they roll around in it to clean, because they can't get to the back side. I don't think this hamster is old. I think this hamster is neglected. Now the next one is actually a night angel, but we are going to see what I think of this one. Even though it is a night angel, it doesn't really mean that the person is doing the best that they possibly could. If you are going to have an animal, it is a privilege having an animal, so make sure that you are supplying them with what they need. In this one, it says rehoming dwarf hamster. I'm looking to rehome my female Russian dwarf hamster for a small fee. Includes her cage, water bottle, food bowl, and bags of bedding and food. Flying saucer wheel! No, don't use it. Not even for dwarfs. And that's, of course, 7 inches right there. And dwarf hamsters, they need at least 8 inches or more. The other thing that obviously you might have seen first is that I wouldn't say no effort, but as you can clearly see, the bedding height is not acceptable. This enclosure is lacking in so much variety for this animal that they are doing under the bare minimum, I would say. I know hamsters are expensive, and you really should not impulsively try to get one from the pet store because you feel guilty. That doesn't help the vicious cycle of them then having to replace that hamster with at least 4 others, because that's how many animals you're gonna have to order when working at a pet store to fill in that one spot until they individually get sold. So please don't. Please look for something like rescues and or rehoming sites and or just Facebook Market, because God forbid I have found nothing but hamsters there, and it's not even for the small animals. You're not even supposed to sell small animals there. They clearly did not put too much effort into anything else except for the enclosure, and the enclosure might have been purchased secondhand. That's why it's not looking as extravagant, because the owner might not have enough money to care for the animal. Curate costs a lot. You got the water bottle, which I don't know what that one is, probably from Amazon. You got a bunch of cardboard in here. You do have tubes, and those are either the KT or the Tiny Tails, but it looks more like the KT ones. You do have a bowl in there that kind of looks like it was from the KT Critter Trail cage, so this person clearly upgraded their animal. The second photo shows, yes, it is a KT Critter Trail cup. So, yeah, this person did upgrade. and then just got rid of it. I hate that. I absolutely hate that. You want to do good, but if you're not providing enrichment inside of a large space, it's not great for them. You want to make sure that there's stuff for them to climb. You want to make sure there's a high and low section, but you want to make sure there's at least 6 inches or more of bedding depth, and 6 inches is a minimum. 10 plus is preferred. So just so you guys are aware, this is, let's see, needs improvement. It's just middle ground. They could have done more. They didn't. It's just, it is what it is. So if you ever see such open space like this again, know that you can fit so much more in here to make their enrichment life a spectacular one. Because that's what we're all aiming for here, especially with our small animals. The next one's young Robo Hamster. Adorable male Robo Hamster named Merlin, just under 1 year. Not your typical skittish Robo, so they understand the species. He will gladly come up to you and eat out of your hand. Must be wanting as a pet, no snake food, no medical issues. If you like his 45-gallon tank, perfect condition, food, bedding, supplies, it will be $150. It's cool that they do have a 45-gallon, which I think is, I'm trying to remember, $580, but it looks like they have at least an 8-inch wheel that is attached to a bin cage at the time, I think. This Robo is quite big and looks healthy, so that's a good sign. Next photo shows you do have an aquatic hide slash maybe reptile hide, but I think that's the aquarium hide. Please, nothing that is meant for an aquarium, because they could chew it and there might be toxins on it, even though it could be sealed for like a fish tank. If they start nibbling away at it, obviously it's not going to be good for them. So please, none of that. There is a branch in there. Hopefully they sanitized it. A rock is in there, which hopefully sanitized again. And of course you got platforms, but there is a KT Critter Trail tube in there, which I hate, but it is appropriate size for a dwarf hamster, so that's fine. And of course there is bedding. Hopefully it is aspen. Oh no, no, it's not. Okay, so this is just random small shavings. I should have known. I should have seen this, but Petco likes to sell something that is a mixture of like cedar and I think a different type of wood. They have individual aspen, which is safe wood, but they have this wood that is a combined wood, and I would not recommend it for small animals because they are so close to that bedding, and the wood does have toxins in it. Once they breathe it in, it causes respiratory issues, irritation, tumors, you name it. Not good. And if you look at it from the side, they definitely could have filled that tank up so much more. So is it downright terrible? Well, it is missing a sand dish, so that's another thing. So I would say, you know, it could be better. It definitely could be better. Middle ground again, could be better, but it's unfortunate that they are selling this hamster. Next, we have something that looks impressive, so let's talk about it. Hamster in cage. 8-month-old long-haired female Syrian hamster with cage and accessory, needs to be rehomed as soon as possible. I have no space and no longer able to take care of the hamster. So I hate it when there's conflicting information where it's like, I don't have the space, but I just no longer can take care of them. So why can you no longer take care of them? Oh, I just don't have enough time. That's usually, you hear that pattern quite a lot. I work during the day, or I work long hours, so I never can, interact with it. And so it's just giving up. It's just someone admitting that they give up. But when they say they have no space, it's basically an inconvenience for them. They have DIY like popsicle stick areas and a hide and tunnel and a fence, and it looks like they do have like a digging area. Doesn't really look like a sand bath. I can see that there's a wheel, but that is a 6.5-inch wheel. There is the dispensing water bottle that you can find on Amazon, but there's also a blue hide that you can find at Petco. But it looks like they DIY'd this enclosure because there is plexiglass and then they just have wood. Now, what type of wood? I have no idea. And there is something hanging in the back that looks like it's not hamster related. I don't know the bedding depth, but it looks like there's enough bedding inside of here for a dwarf hamster. Oh, actually, it's not even a dwarf hamster. That's right. It's a Syrian hamster. This setup is not appropriate then. Oh, no. Ah! No, that wheel is so small. They almost did it. They almost. It's good thus far, but it also needs improvements. But it's a little improvement. Next one, beautiful cage and sweet mini hamster. There's a mini species? What? Large class home with all the needs, decorated and sweet, kind 1.5-year-old dwarf hamster to loving home. Okay, let's look at this. What a unique background. Where is this? This is on someone's bench that looks to be either outside the home or inside. Where is this? Phoenix, Arizona. I can't tell if those floors are in or out. That looks like a 20-gallon. Right now, that looks like an 8-inch wooden wheel, and that looks like a guinea pig-sized water bottle, and it looks small. And also, it looks dirty in there. Oh no. Oh, is there any other photos? Let's look. What am I looking at? It definitely looks dirty. There is rope in there. Why? Why is there rope in there? No. Why? If the hamster climbs that rope, then they can just climb to the lid and then fall off, and that causes issues because dwarf hamsters, when they fall, they can seriously injure themselves. A lot of inappropriate, larger, vertical, not horizontal, but vertical cages that are meant to be for rats even, people have put dwarf hamsters inside of, and they have fallen and caused neurological damage where you see them flip backwards, spin around, and or have seizures, and it caused brain damage. So it's unfortunate to see this because there could have been so much more for this burrow animal to have, but for some reason they had to provide a monkey bar system inside of here, and the wheel looks filthy. So I do believe this is a very filthy cage that just has not been cleaned. That bedding was once white. Yikes, not good, because I don't like what I'm seeing. Rehoming hamster and supplies here. I'm rehoming the sweet hamster. She has such a sweet personality. It's always fun to be around. She comes with cage, food bowl, water bottle, and accessories. This looks like a really tiny cage. And what the heck is hanging from the ceiling? It is one of those first home starter cages. Woo woo! This is tiny. The wheel is clearly tiny. It's not good for them long term. And eventually they might not run on the wheel altogether, and they need that wheel. That's how they exercise. That's how they mentally stay okay. Because natural instincts have told them they need to run, they need to go. Because in the wild, that's how they find mate. That's how they defend their territory. If you don't provide them with that, it causes destruction and bad behavior and disease from stress. They're really highly stress prone. The bedding depth is probably 2 to 3 inches. They do have bedding in there and it does look clean, but it's so bad. Why? Oh my gosh. Is that, I want to say that's just towel tied, but I think it might actually be one of those bird perches where it's bendable and you can move it around, but that's, they have at least one hide that obviously they bought separately, but that's it. That's it. Why? No. No. Yikes, not good. Oh, I'm so depressed right now. I'm so sorry. But thank you guys so much. Leave comments down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I'll see you next time. Bye.